Hello and welcome to this episode. I just want to say thank you for watching this series. I really appreciate it. I'm doing this for fun and as a hobby, and it's just very nice to see people watching it and interacting with it. I really appreciate that. I've been trying out a new style with just showing progress updates, and it's not really working. But this episode will be the last of those, and from now on we will be moving on to a more Let's Plays focused series where we'll just have fun and do things at our own pace. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and let's get right into it. Hello and welcome back to Nomifactory. The first thing I want to show today is how I automated the production of tier 5 microminers. This one here. I have it set to autocraft like the other ones I've done, and I have to do some of the processes manually, but we can craft them up quite easily if we have these prescient crystals. And yeah, those I haven't automated completely yet. We need vibrant crystals and shulker vials for it to work in a salt binder here. And some experience. And I just have an octadic capacitor. This is a bit loud. Let's see, one more. There we go. That's 3 prescient crystals. And with those, we should have everything to craft one more up here. And this will just craft in the background. There's a lot of processes. And we have to craft up these lasers ourselves. And these need to go into a chemical reactor with some radon to make the supercharged laser array. And that we also do manually. It needs plutonium to run, and that we got some of last episode. We can... Let's see... I think we can borrow this extractor here. And we need to extract this plutonium here and then solidify it into balls. We have a solidifier over here, which I can just put the plutonium into, and these will craft. You get 2 of them per craft, so that's pretty nice. That means you only need 16 of these plutonium here to get 32. And we also need quantum flux. We need 16 of those. We already have 16 here. Let's see, we need some inventory space. We will craft up the mining laser here. And this we need to chemical react with some radon. In the meantime, I can show you how I got the uranium. Let's see. We needed uranium triplatinum wire here. And for that we needed platinum, which we already have. And this uranium-238 dust. This I make over here. It's fluorine, hydrofluoric acid, together with uraninite dust. This gives us something that we don't have right now. Oh yeah, we need to trash the water. Oh, it's already watered, this one. Okay, so we react this here and we get this uranium hexafluoride. This we can take and centrifuge, and we get this enriched uranium hexafluoride and depleted hexafluoride. The depleted gives us uranium-238 and the enriched give us uranium-235. At the moment we only use the 238, but we should really get a draw for the other one here as well. And we will just let that run, I think. Oh, this is not an item pipe. Let's see here. Extract on brown. Insert on brown. This is not what I wanted. This is why you always need to lock your drawers. This is way more rare, this enriched uranium hexafluoride, but we still need a drawer for it so it doesn't clog up. This needs to extract the fluorine as well. And we just have a tank here which holds the fluorine that we get from this. And then it will be recycled if we have this on a low priority. Then this fluorine will be used first to make this process here, and also to make hydrofluoric acid. The hydrofluoric acid we make at the polytetrafluoroethylene setup right here. I just yoinked this setup and we buffer it here, but it's all getting used right now. And I have this drawer set to stock up only to 256 items, 256, because otherwise we'll use all of fluorine. I'm not sure if this is a perfect recyclable setup for fluorine. It might be. But yeah, that's how I do that. And this we mix together with platinum here, and blast furnace it, freeze it, and then we can wire mill it to get the EV field generators, which are used in the tier 5 microminer. The supercharged laser array finished up, so if we throw that in the system, it completes the craft here. And yeah, it just throws all we need into this small storage crate, same as we've done with the others. And we can paste it in here. It for some reason pulls in my electromagnet every time, but I just take that out. And then we can craft this up. And if the plutonium is finished here, it is. We should be able to run a mission. Here for Naquadah. Let's see here. Plutonium, quantum flux, tier 2. And if we have more plutonium, we can run one more. This gives us... Let's see here. This gives us Naquadah, Sheldonite, and Caymanite. This Sheldonite here is important as well, since it gives us, let's see here, palladium. It's our main source of palladium. And you get palladium by chemical bathing. Let's see here. You chemical bath the crushed sheldonite ore, and you get a 70% chance of palladium, and even higher if you have a higher tier machine. So I just filtered on the ore dictionaries that it won't go into the rest of the macerating process and thermal centrifuge. It will just go into this chemical bath here after it's crushed the first time. And then we have this is from the main network, a fluid interface from the main network, which gives us mercury. And we have a ore dictionary storage bus, which pulls the crushed sheldonite in there. For some reason it's called cubarite in the ore dictionary, but it is sheldonite. And then we just pull it into an interface in the subnet. This mercury we make somewhere, I think here. We make that by centrifuging redstone. This gives us mercury, silicon dust, ruby dust, and pyrite dust. And yeah, I just make 64 buckets, and this buffers 64 buckets as well, so that should be enough mercury for right now. The Naquadah here, we can just throw into our ore processing setup, which right now is doing redstone, I think. Yeah, it's doing redstone at the moment. Still has a lot to process. We have like 1500 there and 1000 here. Yeah, this is still processing redstone, so it will be a while before it does the Naquadah. But I already sent a mission and I processed that, so we do have Naquadah dust here. So with the palladium and the rhodium we get here from processing osmiridium. Rhodium, this dust here. We get that from processing Iridius mine, which we get from the tier 4. There is a chance of rhodium on the last step. And we processed quite a few of those, so we have some rhodium. And we now also have a bunch of palladium. And this means we can craft up the next alloy we need for LUV. This rhodium palladium. Rhodium plated lumium palladium ingot. And this we just craft up in the alloy blast furnace up here. We have an input bus here with a circuit of 3. And this takes a long time to craft. It takes 90 seconds. And the freezing for it to craft 6 ingots, so that's a very slow process, and we should probably order some more just so we have it. And this we craft into plates, and it's used for the LUV machine casings. For the LUV machine casings we also need, I'm pretty sure it's niobium titanium wires. These. The niobium we also get from ore processing, and titanium we have quite a bit of. Let's see. Yeah, the niobium we get from ore processing something. This plioclaw ore is our main source, I'm pretty sure. This we get from one of the missions. Yeah, the tier 2 gives us pyroclaw, which gives us a lot of niobium. I'm not sure how much we have. Yeah, we have like 5,500 niobium. That's quite a bit. This niobium wire, we need a new material to coat in rubber. We need this polyphenylene sulfide sheet. And that I make here. in the first we have 3 chemical reactors. In the first one, we react sodium with sulfur and get this sodium sulfide dust. In the second, we react benzene, which we get from the oil setup, and some chlorine to get dichlorobenzene. This we react together with some oxygen and the sodium sulfide dust, which gives us salt, which we should probably just store in a super chest or something. And it also gives us the liquid polyphenylene sulfide, which we put solidified into sheets and bend them into thin sheets. And this we use to coat the cables from LUV and above. Let's see here. You need PVC and this polyphenylene sheets to coat the wires, and obviously I use styrene butadiene rubber as well. It's quite a bit, but this is a passive process, so it just works. And we get hydrochloric acid as a byproduct, and also salt, which we can most likely use to get the chlorine back somehow. But yeah, I don't feel like that right now. Let's see, let's put down a drawer. We need to get rid of this salt here. Let's just extract on gray. And insert on gray. We just use different channels, then it should be fine without filtering. Yeah, it is. Now it's just back. It's like stopped because we have the max amount of polyphenylene in here. The next thing I did is to set up some liquid helium. This I made over here. It's just a vacuum freezer. Which grabs helium and makes it into liquid helium. I have a fluid level emitter here, so that we don't overstock liquid helium, make all our helium into liquid. We're not interested in that. So we have 64 buckets, and that should be enough of a buffer to do what we need to do. This liquid helium, this here, we use to freeze down the higher tier ingots that's needed. So we, at the blast furnace, I put on a input hatch, which I put liquid helium into, and it gives us some of the helium back, which I just buffer in a super tank here, which we have on negative priority so that it uses this helium first. My main goal for this episode is to get Naquadah coils for my blast furnace. This is needed to smelt up the enderium here, and I really want the enderium to start changing out the cabling. The energy conduits here, I want to be enderium. So I want to passive enderium, get the Naquadah coils to make the smelt the enderium, and then I also want to set up some passiving of the dust. But to get the Naquadah coils, we first and foremost need Naquadah, and we also need an LUV assembling machine to make the coils. So that's what I am working on right now. Let's see here, but for that we need LUV components, and those are made in the assembly line. I already crafted up my first motor to see if it worked. Let's try and craft up one more. We need more rooted. How do we get that? Indium, iridium, and ruthenium. Yeah, we don't have more ruthenium, but we get that from ore processing, I'm pretty sure. Ore processing of osmiridium. Do we have any else? We have 80 osmiridium, so we will ore process that, and then we should be able to make more motors. So our setup is processing it here. We just need to give those a partition cell here. We have a lot of 64K storage disks, so it shouldn't be a problem. Let's see here. Osmiridium. Oh. And with lithium. Like so. Oh, that's all of it. It already processed. Let's see here. We got the 95 ruthenium out of 80 ores, so that's pretty good. I don't think we use ruthenium for anything else right now, so we will just mix up some rooted. And that needs to be done in an elite mixer, IV mixer here. And it takes 18 seconds per, so that's a long craft. And we make sure to filter it in here. See, rooted. Ah, this works, and it takes 20 seconds at LUV, so it's a very slow craft. I crafted up this ME extended processing pattern tape terminal, and in this we have more space than the normal 9 spaces to make the recipe. So right now I'm just making a recipe for conveyor modules. I want to make a recipe for robot arms. We need one for pistons. And I think that's it. Let's see, we should name the assembling machine interface here. Doesn't have a name. Oh, I have the cutting knife here. Let's just call it S line. Let's make a recipe for the assembling machine as well, so that we can see what we are missing. See here. LUV assembling machine. We need more ASSS ingot, more rooted. We need recipes for these components here. I think that's it. Not sure how much rooted we are making. I think we are making enough rooted, it just needs time to process. Not sure we have enough ASSS. How much can we craft? Need tungsten steel dust. That's easy though. We have a lot of tungsten steel. Maybe we can steal it under the setup we have here. Yeah, the mixer has some. Let's just steal that. ASS. Yeah, we'll make 128. And that's mixing in the EV mixer. First it mixes ASSG, because you need that for ASSS. You need 6 for it. And for that we also need some iridium and osmium. I'll just set up these patterns here and wait for the ingots to smelt up and mix, and then I will be back. After quite a bit of waiting and micromanaging the blast furnace, we have enough rooted and ASSS steel to craft up the LUV assembling machine, which is pretty huge. Let's start the craft and see if it finishes. Yeah, the assembly line I automated a bit ago, and I just threw in the patterns in here, and then the actually addition lasers will take care of the rest, and then I just output straight into an interface. I had some problems with getting the assembly line to work, and the problem was that I had the interface down here next to the item laser. So the laser network would just pull the items into the interface and therefore into the AE system again. So make sure you don't have that next to a laser. And after a lot of waiting for the craft, we have the elite assembling machine. And I also made a 1 amp energy converter, which we should be able to provide with power with the end steel cables, but this is the absolute maximum we can provide, is 1 amp of LUV energy. And the superconductor for this tier is just signalum, so that's not a problem. I'm a bit scared to connect this, but I've triple checked that the energy converter is LUV and that the machine is LUV. So nothing should explode. And it didn't. This means that we can make Naquadah coils if we have enough Naquadah. We don't yet. We have like 31 ingots. We need 128. And the other thing we need for the coils is osmium foil. And osmium we should be able to make. Looks like it, yeah. I'm not sure if we have something already. We have a little bit of osmium. That might be enough actually. Let's see here. It should be able to craft up. And the liquid we need is just tungsten steel. So while waiting for the Naquadah to smelt up, I actually passived Enderium dust here. It was not that hard. I just added an interface to this line here. It's where I make signalum. And let's see. The only thing I had to add was a macerator for gold, a rose gold mixer, a blue steel mixer, which uses the black steel I made with the signalum setup, and it uses the steel and the brass I made with the signalum setup. And then I add the rose gold that I just made over here. Primal mana we already have. we make that over here at the Lumium setup. So that was easy as well. And platinum and lead we get from ore processing. So it was pretty easy to passive the Enderium dust. The hard thing about this is that you need Naquadah coils in order to smelt it up. And also liquid helium to freeze it. So now that we have some osmium foil, some melted tungsten steel, and some Naquadah wire, we should be able to make the coils. It just takes a while, so more waiting. But that's fine. I'll just check power here. Yeah, we are stretching the numismatic dynamos right now. Soon we will be able to make power with the solar panels. I have already crafted up the recipe. Let's see here. All we need is some neptunium, some americium, curium, Enderium, osmiridium we should be able to make, and plutonium. All of this we should be able to make, and that this one craft here gives us let's see, gives us a solar panel, or 4 solar panels that make 32,000 RF per tick. So that will be a good power solution for the future. And we will just be spamming those when we have vision up and running. This machine here uses so much power that we had a power issue, because we're also running these IV machines and then running an LUV machine, and the blast furnace runs LUV. It overloaded the system, but we have the Naquadah coils now, so we should be able to upgrade our blast furnace here, or even make a new one in here. I think we'll start off by upgrading this one, because we don't have enough power for more passive blast furnaces. Here we go. We now have an LUV blast furnace with Naquadah coils, which is the 3rd last coil, so we are getting closer and closer to the best coils here. We want this to run Enderium, so let's see, Enderium dust into here on brown, and this is running Enderium now, and it's 65 seconds per craft. Holy smokes. We'll want to buffer a lot of this because it's so slow. And here we go. This is our first Enderium ingot. Should be a quest. It is. And a while later, after waiting quite a bit and eating dinner and stuff like that, we have 80 Enderium in the system. And we have also used quite a bit of it on crafting up solar panels. These here. 16 of them I have already crafted up, and that required, let's see here, 37 Enderium for 16. And it also required a lot of the byproducts from Nuclearcraft. Those are required for the Sonarium down here, and also the enriched Sonarium. It was there. Yeah, enriched Sonarium. This requires Neptunium, Americium, and the normal requires Plutonium and Curium. And I've just been crafting those up manually, but I am about to set up a setup for making those passively. At the moment, we are not using these fission reactors, and we want those running so that we can get the byproducts without having to run from machine to machine. And I also crafted up 16 of these vibrant capacitor banks, but those are not worth it at all. They can store 400 million RF, 16 of them combined. And each of these solar panels can hold 128 million each. So these 16 solar panels are way larger energy buffer than the vibrant capacitor banks. So, but I didn't know that. So I set up a rock breaker here, which makes us black granite. This we need to macerate to get black granite dust and a chance at thorium, and we can centrifuge it into biotite and electrolyze it if we want, but it's really this polarization process that we are interested in. For this we made a maceration tower. I initially wanted to use this one for this process here, but I went with the ore processing way instead. And I'm happy I did that because this was much easier to craft up with the byproducts that I got from ore processing. I'm just waiting for the parallel hatches here. These take a while to craft up. I'm also waiting for more solar panels because we are really pushing our power setup. I think these are working full time. And okay, these are only half, so that's good. The solar panels finished crafting, so we should get a lot more power now. Let's see here. And we need connections on these because each end steel conduit can only transfer 32,000, and that's exactly what these solar panels produce. So we need one for each solar panel at the moment. Like so. And that should help our power setup quite a bit. I moved the thorium setup from over there over to here because I thought it got a little bit cramped over there. And we are making thorium at the moment. This thorium we need to centrifuge in a thermal centrifuge, and for that I will also make another of these multi-block centrifuges and do it in that. I am using a subnet here again because that's just how I like to do it and what I find the most fun. Okay, so a lot has happened since the last clip. As you can see here, we set up a thermal centrifuge multi-block here, and we ore dictionary the thorium into the input bus here, and then we get prepared thorium out of it. This here, prepared thorium 232. We craft that into TPU fuel here. And the TPU fuel we process in this fission reactor here. I have made it a little bit larger, quite a bit larger, so that it would handle it faster. I made it so that this will also process the LEN fuel because this wasn't keeping up. Let's stop that now. It wasn't keeping up because I had a lot of prepared thorium from before, which just ran down here. Let's see. In this thermal centrifuge down here, we just ran it for a couple of days, so we had a lot of this prepared thorium, and we still have a bit. While I'm here, I can talk about this. We have an IV extractor, which extracts this impossible realm data. which you can get from Enderman pristines. Get 1 per pristine. And this is just an easier way to get quantum flux. We should put a storage bus on this. Like so. And it's locked, that's good. So now we should have quantum flux on hand and don't have to craft it every time we want to send a miner. Yeah, that's what we did here. Here we set up a automated setup for the byproducts that you can get here. I have 500 of each of the stabilized each of these stabilized byproducts. So we have americium and californium, berkelium, curium, uranium, plutonium, and neptunium. So yeah, we have that on hand, and I'm passively creating this scenarium as well because it's a very slow recipe. So that just needs to run all of the time. I crafted up one thing of note, this fission reactor, the casings and the coolers and reactor parts, they all crafted up overnight, and I had to ore process some of this lepidolite to get boron enough. But when we had the boron, I could just auto request these from the AE2 setup, and then I could let it run overnight. Let's see if we can craft some more solar panels. These, remember, needed a lot of the byproducts from the fission. Yeah, we have enough sonarium here to craft up another 32, so that should be quite a large improvement of power. We already have 32 here, so that should double our solar panels and should take some load off these numismatic dynamos. I want to move these over to here and then start changing all the conduits out with Enderium, because I crafted those up as well. So I have like almost 2000 Enderium conduits. The way I calculated how much Enderium wire we need is by conduit probing these wires here. There's a number called conduit storage. You take the right of the backslash here, the number here, and then you divide it by this number here, the internal buffer. That's the buffer of the run conduit. The conduit storage is the buffer of all of the conduits. You can divide the big number here with the smaller number, and then you get the amount of conduits you have in your system. The bottleneck in this system right now is this large centrifuge unit. It can't process the thorium dust fast enough. Yeah, so TPU fuel is not crafted very fast. But I think it's all right. I don't think it needs to be much faster, because we don't need that much of all of these. I don't think. You need one of each of them for the mode of omnium. But that's about it. And then you obviously need it for the sonarium and enriched sonarium. The way I automated these fission reactors is that I put, again, all dictionary storage buses on the reactor here. And then I just extract, I use a fission reactor port, and I extract the depleted fuels into the ME system. And I've done that for all of them. I can just show you what I've filtered in the ore dictionary. This is LEN236 fuel. Over here we are reacting LEA242 fuel. And over here we are reacting LECM243 fuel. And these can keep up with the fuel right here. I think having 4 is a bit overkill, but I'm not sure. This big one isn't running all of the time, so you might have been able to run all of the fuels in one reactor at this size. I'm not quite sure, but now we have 4 and are happy with that. And this one just depletes CPU so very quickly. Before I made it this big, it couldn't keep up. TPU fuel was building up in the system. It couldn't deplete it fast enough, but it definitely can now. And over here I have some crafters. An interface next to the crafters. The crafters can just pull directly from the interface. So that's what's happening here. And then I just extract the fuels that I craft here into the ME system again. And the fuels you need to craft to get these byproducts here is LECM243 fuel, LEA242 fuel. This crafter isn't doing anything. And LEN236 fuel, and then obviously TPU fuel. And those are centrifuges here, and these can keep up now. And the byproducts are put into this draw controller here with all of the different byproducts. You get tiny clumps of all of this, so I just use compacting drawers to compact all of the items, and then yeah, they pull out the whole versions here, the whole clumps, not the tiny ones, and then you can use that to make the fuels. The setup with the stabilized isotopes is just some extractors. I did this at high voltage because those should be able to keep up. So 7 fluid solidifiers and 7 extractors, and I did this on a 16 amp high voltage line. And that these extractors just extract directly into the fluid solidifiers, and then they extract directly into the drawers. And we obviously have a draw controller with a storage bus. And to make sure that these would have enough of the isotopes to craft up the different fuels, I just put level emitters on this. I have them to emit when levels are below limit. You just click on this one time. And that means if there's under 100 Neptunium of this type, which are needed for fuels, it won't run. And the same with each of these. It will not run if there's under this amount in the system. And these all stopped because they filled up with fluid and filled up with the isotopes here. And the Sonarion needs to be made at IV, so I just made an IV energy converter down here, which, yeah, just aluminum wire into this, and that works. It's very slow though, so if you are able to power an LUV alloy smelter, you should do that. At least if you need Sonarium quickly. This will run while I'm away, and it should make a lot over time. But I think that's what I had for you this episode. We got quite a bit done. Most notably passiving Enderium and passiving the fission setup here. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.